Who's actually going to get the most out of a built-in beverage center, and who would be better off skipping it altogether? Is the price justified for a household that just wants a place to keep a few sodas cold, or does it make sense for a small office that needs a permanent chill spot? Those are the questions that keep most shoppers up at night, especially when the kitchen layout is already tight and every inch counts. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon, and I'm going to walk through why the Summit 24-inch built-in beverage center might be the answer or why it could turn out to be a costly misfit. When I first started looking at built-in beverage fridges, the biggest hesitation I felt was the classic "will it fit" dilemma. Most kitchens are designed around the standard 24-inch width for dishwashers and ovens, and a shallow depth of 18 inches sounds perfect on paper, but the reality of door swing, ventilation clearance, and the way the unit integrates with existing cabinetry can be a nightmare. The Summit model is specifically designed for a left-hand door swing, which means the hinge is on the opposite side of the more common right-hand units. If your kitchen island or countertop runs left to right, that left-hand swing could actually be a blessing, allowing the door to open away from the cooking zone. But if your layout is the opposite, you might end up fighting the door every time you reach for a bottle, which quickly turns a sleek feature into a daily annoyance. Another real-world concern is energy consumption. The specs tout an energy-efficient fridge label, and that isn't just marketing fluff. Because the unit is shallow, the compressor doesn't have to work as hard to maintain a consistent temperature across a larger volume. For a family that grabs a cold drink after a workout, or a teenager who needs a quick soda during homework, the modest 24-inch footprint means less cold air is lost each time the door opens. In my own test setup, a compact open-plan apartment with limited counter space, I found that the unit kept a stable 38°F after just a half hour of runtime, and the electric bill bump was practically unnoticeable. Now let's talk about the practical strengths that actually matter once the unit is installed. First, the beverage storage is exactly what the name suggests. Rows of adjustable shelves that can accommodate everything from standard 12-ounce cans to taller 20-ounce bottles. That flexibility is handy for people who like to mix between soda, water, and a few craft beers without constantly reshuffling the interior. Second, the stainless steel exterior blends well with most modern kitchen designs, giving it a built-in look that doesn't scream appliance. It sits flush against the cabinets, and because it's not a full-size fridge, you won't have to sacrifice a whole wall for a single beverage zone. On the downside, the shallow depth that seems like a win for tight spaces also introduces a hidden trade-off. Larger items, think 2-liter soda bottles or a few party-size pitchers, just won't fit, no matter how you try to angle them. If you entertain frequently and rely on bulk purchases, you'll spend extra time unpacking and moving drinks into the fridge, or you'll need a separate freezer for the overflow. The 24-inch width also means the total internal volume is limited. The unit can hold roughly 30 to 35 standard cans, which is fine for a family of 4 with moderate consumption, but it might feel cramped for a home bar that wants to stock a broader selection. Another point to consider is the left-hand door swing. For most buyers, a door that opens toward the kitchen island is ideal because you can place a tray of glasses or a small bar set right next to it. However, if the door swing points toward a high-traffic walkway or a narrow aisle, you could end up with a bottleneck. The installation manual does note that you need at least a few inches of clearance behind the unit for proper ventilation, and that's a requirement that can't be ignored. In a real-world scenario I saw in a friend's condo, the unit was installed right next to the dishwasher, and the heat from the dishwasher's cycle caused the beverage center to run a little longer to keep the temperature stable. It's a subtle inefficiency, but over time it can add up. So, who should buy this Summit beverage center? If you live in a small to mid-size kitchen, where a traditional mini fridge would dominate the counter, and you primarily need a place for cans and standard bottles, this unit fits nicely. It's also a solid pick for an office break room that wants a permanent, low-maintenance cooler without dedicating a whole wall to a full fridge. The energy-efficient compressor and adjustable shelving make it a practical, low-hassle solution for those who want a built-in look without the bulk. Who should skip it? Anyone who relies heavily on larger containers, like 2-liter soda bottles, party pitchers, or a rotating stock of craft beers, will likely find the internal space restrictive. If your kitchen layout is already set for a right-hand swing, retrofitting